G'day weebs, welcome back to the channel. Sorry I've been a little bit inactive lately, but I figured this was probably worth some time to take a look at because there's been some big ticketing changes for Comiket. Hopefully, if you're going to the one that's happening in about 2 weeks, so C102, you already know about these changes because you're pretty much screwed if you haven't already caught the boat, but we'll have a look, shall we? So these ticketing changes are current as of the next Comiket happening in August 12th and 13th. So these might still change by the winter one, which should be at the end of the year. But notably, Comiket has changed back to a 2-day event. So the last couple of years, it was a 3-day event, mostly because the Tokyo Big Sight was undergoing renovations, and then COVID and the impacts from that kept going. So now, from what I assume from now on, from this August, all Comikets should be 2 days only, so the weekend essentially. I'll put all the links for the websites here in the description below if you want to have a closer look at them, which you probably will. And of course, I do also recommend following their official Twitter account and the Facebook page because they provide updates in English for international attendees. So Comiket has changed drastically since COVID and since the Olympics. Really, this change was already happening for the Tokyo Olympics because they just didn't have the space. In that everyone needs a ticket now. There is no free entry anymore. Your free lunch is gone, and potentially the old school way of queuing for Comiket, where you have huge queues and huge lines and things like that, might be gone now. But we'll have a look, shall we? This is probably the first Comiket where things have actually gone back to normal. The first Comiket that happened straight after they reopened from COVID, it was okay. But this should be, things are starting to get rolling now. Tokyo Big Sight's fully renovated, things like that. They have access to all the east-west halls on both levels now, just like it was prior to COVID. So, hopefully it's all back to normal. The big change right now is that if you want an early entry ticket, so you want to be in the door at opening, which is 10:30, you'll need to first enter a lottery because there's too many people that want one, and the tickets cost 5,000 yen now, which is about $50 US or Australian, whichever way you want to look at it. That is a lot compared to when it used to be free. Even when they first instituted the ticketing system, a couple years back, even prior to COVID, just before COVID, in fact, when Tokyo Big Sight was getting renovated for the Tokyo Olympics, a ticket only cost like 1,000 to 1,500 yen, I believe, and you got it with your catalog. That has now gone. You now need to enter a lottery, and then if you're successful in the lottery, then you can buy your early entry ticket at 10:30 a.m. So that's a little bit disappointing. It's probably to do with the queues, honestly, and the traffic, because a lot of people would be queuing and trying to get the earliest train at 6 a.m. in order to be able to get at the front of the queue and things like that. So this way they're trying to make sure that people don't do that because there's no point. I don't know if that'll work that way, mostly because even the people that don't get the early entry ticket, the people that get like the morning ticket, for example, which we'll go through in a little bit, they're still going to want to queue up early, because even though they might not be able to get in at 10:30, they want to be the first ones in after the first wave has gone in. You know what I mean? So I don't think you can defeat human nature there, but at least maybe it'll it'll smooth out the flow of people sort of using public transport to try to get to Tokyo Big Sight. So that might be the thinking there. 5,000 yen is quite a lot though. I don't know, man. That's pretty steep. And you also have to be sure about where you're entering from as well, and we'll go through that in a little bit. There is also a cosplay changing room early entry ticket. So this is similar to other Comikets where they used to have cosplay specific tickets where you would be guaranteed access to the cosplay changing room, because in Japan you're not allowed to wear cosplay outside of the events. So this isn't new, but it is quite a lot more expensive, and it's also in a lottery, so similar to the general entry tickets. Notably, before, the entry to the cosplay changing room wasn't charged. I believe it was only a ticket. But now they've started to charge for the tickets again, probably to try to smooth out the crowds and try to make sure that there's a more even flow throughout the day, which, I mean, good luck to them. Then the last two tickets which have not sold out are the AM entry and PM entry. Both of these are pretty much the same thing, just that AM entry is only at 11 o'clock, I believe, or 11:30, straight after the 10:30 people have gone in. And it only costs like 1,000 yen, which is about $10. So these ones would have been similar to the ones that were prior to COVID. Yeah, I mean, there's no lottery, but there's limited numbers apparently, or you can buy an e-ticket online if you're international. To be clear, you can get an early entry ticket as a international attendee if you so wish, but you do have a little bit of a trial to go through if you're trying to get it internationally. But AM, PM entry are fairly standard tickets. So as we keep going down, there is a schedule of the ticket sales. Again, if I said you are trying to get to Comiket 102 in about 2 weeks, you probably should have bought your tickets by now. And you probably should have known about this ticketing change before I got to it, essentially. However, if you're not that into kind of getting there early, you can still get AM and PM tickets as far as I'm aware. I am curious about if you are going early, if you can let me know how the queuing situation is like. That'd be pretty interesting to know. Alrighty, so the early entry tickets. So these are the ones that queue before doors open and get first dibs in at 10:30 a.m. They're split up into which halls you want to go into, and we'll have a look at the map again if you haven't seen it before, because it is going to be a little bit different. So they're split up into south/west and then east halls. So you have to know which places you want to go to first, because otherwise you're going to be stuck going through. It basically will be one giant line going one way, right? Sort of like an IKEA store, and they will not probably let you go back around the other way. And there are separate tickets and lotteries for male and female changing rooms due to capacity, so make sure you choose the right one. Obviously, if you don't identify as either one, they say just to purchase either one and then inquire on site. I personally don't know how that will go. I'm not a cosplayer. Good luck. If you can let me know how that goes, that'd be really good to know, just for other people to know. After changing, you then have to stay in the south halls, and then you're then let out, I assume, into the open space once all the queue space has been emptied out of people, because generally what happens is that in Tokyo Big Sight there's like a big plaza up the top nearer to the doors, and then there's a lower sort of kind of public area where there's like stores and stuff up and down the boulevard where they get people usually to queue. So I assume what happens is that you change, you get stuck in the south hall for a little bit, and then you're let out once everyone's dispersed and gone into the halls or whatever. So then you can do, your photos and things outside. Yeah, so those are the changes for the tickets. If you have not already got your ticket for the August Comiket coming up, I would highly suggest buying it now. The early ones are all set out anyway, so you can still get the morning and evening ones via e-ticket, via E+, which is also on this website, which I'll link down below. So I would recommend getting them. As for the December one for the Winter Comiket this year, I personally think this is going to stick. The actual methods of buying a ticket might change, mostly because for international attendees, ticket pay is really not a friendly, definitely not a friendly system to use, because when you look at it, it is all in Japanese. So you've definitely got to either Google Translate and trust yourself, or be able to navigate this beforehand. To be clear, even if you buy this online through TicketPay, you will need to show up at a Family Mart at some point to collect the ticket. I believe they say that somewhere here. Yeah, so there's a how to buy section. And you do need to register in advance with an SMS sent to a registered phone, with apparently many countries supported, but not everyone. So unfortunately, if your country is not supported with an SMS, unfortunately you can't attend early. That's just how it is. And tickets will have the name of the account printed on it, and it must match your photo ID. So they don't let anyone else go in under your name. Tickets are issued to people, like one person only, and you will need to attend to a Family Mart up to before the day before Comiket. So that would be Thursday, the August 11th, I believe. August 10th would be the safest option. I mean, you can try the Friday, August 11th, but I wouldn't risk it. And yeah, if you don't get your tickets, bad luck. So yeah, you do have to get to a Family Mart. You can get someone in Japan to issue the ticket for you, but they will not be able to enter unless they have their name on their photo ID. So that's just how it is. We'll have a look at the maps now, so you know exactly what east and south/west halls mean, because it does change. So here's the map. This is the entirety of Tokyo Big Sight in kind of a diagrammatic form. So these 6 here are the east halls, and they are literally just side by side like that. And then on the right hand side of those, we have the west 1 and west 2 halls in yellow, the south 1 and 2 halls connected to it just above in gray, and then upstairs, which is west and south 4th floor. So these are upstairs of those. There's west 3 and 4 and south 3 and 4 in sort of the same layout. So the east halls will be your general doujin sales, and also west is your sort of general doujin sales. These will change from day to day, so you've got to make sure whichever artist you're going to, you know which day that they're exhibiting on, and you know which hall they're exhibiting on, because it'll be different depending on whether you go first or second day. The only booths that don't change from day to day will be the corporate booths, and the corporate booths are all in the south halls. So like 3 and 4 is corporate booths. I don't think they're using south 1 and 2, but all the upstairs should be corporate booths, if I look correctly. Yeah, so all the upstairs booths of west and south halls should be corporate booths. Those will be fairly obvious to spot. If you want your own sort of physical map rather than trying to rely on this online map from Circle.ms, I'll put the link in the description below. You should grab a catalog from any like anime, whatever. Once you get to Japan, just ask for a Comiket catalog. It'll be this massive, thick phone book like thing, and in the back there should be maps. There should be 3 or 4 maps, I believe, enough for both days, and enough to be able to circle out, okay, this is where this booth is that I need to go to, and then you should be able to map out, what sort of route you should take to be able to hit everything. It'll include all your doujin artists, it'll include all your corporate booths, that kind of thing. I wouldn't recommend bringing the catalog on the day because it's super heavy. Just kind of tear the map out from the catalog on the day to take that with you, would be my suggestion. I think that's about it in terms of ticketing changes and what else I can probably do to help you with your Comiket 102 summer of 2023 experience. If you do end up going and you're going early, let me know how it is. I'm really curious if it does help with the queues. Otherwise, I will be going to the winter Comiket coming up. So the one at the end of December in 2023. So if you're going, let me know. And throughout the rest of the year, I'll be trying to keep you up to date with my preparations for Comiket. And I've got some other prep I need to do as well for a friends trip that I'm going on at the same time. So if you're interested in kind of how to prep for a larger group going to Japan, or going to a Comiket with people that not necessarily might be in that demographic, keep an eye out on the channel, and that'll be coming up soon. So thanks a lot for watching, and yeah, keep an eye out for that other content. Thanks a lot.